Spend enough time researching the Great Loop, and you'll start believing you need a Ranger Tug or a Grand Banks. The problem is, that's exactly what everyone else believes too. But what if I told you some of the toughest boats for this route sell for half the price simply because nobody wants them? Today we're looking at 5 overlooked boats that experienced cruisers quietly respect, and one of them might be the smartest purchase on today's used market. A boat doesn't need a famous name to be right for this journey. It needs a manageable draft, an air draft that clears the fixed bridges, decent fuel range, and enough livable space for a year aboard. Unpopular just means less demand, and less demand means real savings, sometimes $20,000 to $50,000 compared to the trendy alternative. Let's start with number 5. Number 5. Cray 370 Aft Cabin. Cray built the 370 Aft Cabin as part of its push into motor yacht territory, a boat aimed at buyers who wanted real separation between an owner's stateroom and a guest cabin without stepping up into something considerably larger. It sold well in its day to a coastal cruising crowd, weekend boaters, who occasionally stretched into longer trips along the coast, rather than committing to a full circuit of the route. People overlook it for this journey simply because it's a Cray, and Cray isn't a name that comes up in trawler conversations. Cruisers researching the trip online get funneled toward the same handful of purpose-built trawler brands, and a name associated with weekend cruisers and express boats gets dismissed before anyone actually looks at the specs. That's a mistake, because plenty of boaters have completed the entire route in one of these, quietly proving the boat's capability, while the online conversation kept assuming it belonged strictly to weekend marinas. Here's something that surprises people. Despite the flashy reputation, the 370's hull is built with the same substantial fiberglass layup Cray used across its serious motor yacht line, not the lighter construction found on its smaller runabouts. Twin engines common on this model give you redundancy that single-engine trawlers can't match. If one goes down, you're not stranded on a remote stretch of river waiting for a tow. Cray's reputation for fit and finish shows up in the interior too, real wood joinery, and a salon that feels finished rather than merely functional, a step up in polish from some of the more utilitarian boats later on this list. For this route, the 370 offers a spacious layout, a separate guest cabin, a proper master stateroom, and a salon large enough for real entertaining rather than just passing through. Draft and air draft both fall within normal parameters for the standard route on most configurations, though it's worth double-checking the exact figures on any listing you're seriously considering, since aft cabin motor yachts occasionally run a bit taller than a comparable trawler. The twin engines, while less fuel efficient than a single diesel trawler, give you speed when you need to cover ground quickly, dodge a closing weather window, or simply want to shorten a long day on the water. You'll typically find good examples between $35,000 and $65,000. The honest downside is fuel burn. Twin gas or diesel engines drink more than the single-engine boats later on this list, so budget accordingly if range and economy matter more to you than speed and space. For a couple who values comfort and entertaining room over maximum efficiency, though, that trade-off is easy to justify. If you're finding this helpful, take a second to like the video, subscribe to Boat Hunter, and turn on notifications. We put out videos like this regularly to help you find real value in the used boat market before you spend $1 more than you have to. But if you think that's impressive for the price, the next boat is one of the cheapest diesel options you can find anywhere on the used market for this route. Number 4. Bayliner 3288 Motoryacht. Bayliner built the 3288 as part of its push into the command bridge segment, placing the primary helm inside a raised, enclosed structure rather than on an open flybridge. It targeted buyers who wanted motor yacht comfort without paying Cray or Carver prices for a similar layout, and it sold in real numbers throughout its production run, giving today's used market a healthy supply of examples to choose from. Most researchers scroll right past Bayliner without a second thought. The name carries a budget reputation earned by decades of entry-level runabouts and bow riders, and that broad reputation unfairly follows the 3288, even though it represents a more serious tier of the brand. Owners who actually live with these boats consistently describe something different than what the name suggests. A boat that quietly outperforms the assumptions people make about it before ever stepping aboard. Despite the Bayliner badge, many examples of this particular model are still cruising more than 30 years after they were built, a detail that surprises people who assume the name automatically means disposable construction. The command bridge itself is the standout feature. Because the helm sits in its own weather-protected space, the salon below functions purely as living space, rather than sharing room with a lower helm station, giving the interior a residential feel that surprises people expecting a typical Bayliner layout. Diesel-powered examples, which show up more often than you'd expect on this model, give you real range and the mechanical simplicity boaters appreciate when they're managing repairs themselves in unfamiliar towns along the way. For this journey, the 3288 checks the practical boxes well. Draft and air draft both work for the standard route on most model years. The enclosed helm keeps you dry and comfortable when weather turns on an open stretch of the Tennessee River, and the layout includes a separate stateroom rather than a curtained-off corner of the salon. Fuel economy on the diesel versions is considerably better than the Sea Ray we just covered, making it one of the most budget-friendly diesel options available for the entire trip, an important consideration when you're calculating costs across an 18-month journey rather than a single weekend. Prices typically run from $30,000 to $60,000, with diesel-powered examples commanding the upper end of that range. The trade-off is finding a well-documented example, since Bayliner produced an enormous number of these across many configurations, and condition varies significantly depending on how the specific boat was used and maintained. A careful survey matters more here than on some of the boats later in this list, simply because of how much variation exists between individual examples. The next boat is one your audience already responded to last time we covered it, and for good reason. Huge interior, comfortable liveaboard living, and parts that are easy to find anywhere in the country. Number 3. Carver 355 and 356 Aft Cabin. Carver introduced these Aft Cabin models during a period when the company was expanding beyond simpler cruisers into serious motor yachts. The target buyer wanted real separation between an owner's stateroom and a guest cabin, and Carver built a hull specifically designed to deliver that layout without the price tag of a larger boat, aiming squarely at buyers who wanted yacht-level living space on a middle-class budget. Buyers dismiss this boat before they've even clicked the listing, mostly because the Carver name carries a reputation for being ordinary rather than aspirational. Carver never had the marketing muscle of some competitors, so the badge carries less prestige, even though the boat underneath consistently offers more usable interior volume per dollar than names people recognize immediately. That gap between reputation and reality is exactly where the value lives. It has one of the largest usable interiors you'll find on any boat under 40 feet, a direct result of Carver prioritizing livable space over sleek exterior lines. The hull layup is substantial, without the corner cutting that shows up in boats built purely to hit an aggressive price point, and these hulls have proven they can go the distance when properly maintained. The aft cabin gives you a real, separate owner's stateroom with its own head, real privacy from anyone sleeping forward, a detail that matters enormously over months of shared living aboard. The salon feels larger than the hull length suggests thanks to generous window area, and the galley handles proper meal preparation rather than just reheating something from a cooler, an underrated feature for a couple planning to cook real dinners for a full year. For this kind of extended travel, the interior space is the whole draw. Storage throughout reflects a design built around actual extended cruising, and the layout comfortably handles a couple-plus visiting family for a stretch of the trip, a real advantage once grandchildren start asking to come along for a leg of the journey. Draft and air draft both work fine for the standard route on most configurations, and twin engines, common on these models, give you the redundancy and maneuverability that make docking and locking considerably less stressful, particularly for a couple still building confidence handling lines together. You'll typically find good examples between $40,000 and $80,000, depending on engine hours and how well the previous owner kept up with cosmetic details. The honest downside is fuel consumption on the twin-engine setups. Plan for higher costs at the fuel dock than the single-engine trawlers on today's list, though most owners say the extra space and comfort more than justify that added expense over the course of the trip. The next boat has near cult status among people who've actually completed this route, even though almost nobody outside that community has heard of it. Number 2. Monk 36. Ed Monk was a naval architect whose designs shaped an entire generation of American cruising trawlers, and the Monk 36 carries that pedigree directly, even though most casual buyers have no idea who he was or why it matters. It was built as a thoughtfully laid-out trawler for serious cruisers rather than weekend warriors, and it developed a quiet, devoted following that never translated into broad name recognition outside that circle. People walk past this boat constantly because the name sounds unfamiliar, and unfamiliar names don't inspire confidence the way a recognizable brand does. It's older, it's not flashy, and it doesn't photograph the way a modern trawler does in a listing thumbnail. None of that reflects what's actually happening mechanically, which is precisely why this boat sits so far below its actual value on the used market. Some owners say they searched for years before finding one, simply because people who own a Monk 36 rarely sell them. That kind of loyalty tells you something a spec sheet never could. The design pedigree shows up the moment you step aboard. The galley-up layout keeps the cook connected to the salon rather than isolated below, and the full-beam master stateroom offers real space that surprises people expecting a boat this size to feel cramped. The hull is slow and remarkably efficient, built like a tank in the way that only boats from this era tend to be. Heavy fiberglass, honest construction, nothing cut to hit a price target. The hull handles predictably at slow speeds, forgiving small mistakes rather than punishing them, which matters enormously for a couple still learning to read how their boat responds. For this route, that predictability builds real confidence at the helm, particularly navigating locks or docking in unfamiliar marinas along unfamiliar rivers where every approach feels a little different. Engine hours on well-maintained examples often run surprisingly low relative to the boat's age, evidence of owners who use these boats carefully rather than running them hard and skipping maintenance. Storage and headroom hold up well for extended cruising, and the draft keeps you comfortable through the shallower inland stretches, though as always, confirm exact figures against the model year you're looking at before you commit to a route. Prices typically land between $60,000 and $95,000, reflecting real design quality that most buyers simply don't recognize by name. The real drawback is engine room access. Reaching certain components on a boat this size takes some careful positioning, so factor that into your expectations if you plan to handle your own maintenance rather than relying on a mechanic at every stop. Which brings us to the boat that best captures everything this list is about, a name almost nobody outside this community has ever heard, and a reputation among the people who actually own one that borders on reverence. Number 1. Island Gypsy 32. Island Gypsy built the 32 as a compact, full-displacement trawler aimed at buyers who wanted offshore-grade construction in a size that a couple could manage without extra crew. The brand never chased volume the way some competitors did, choosing instead to build a smaller number of boats to a higher standard, which is exactly why so few people have ever heard the name today, even among buyers who've spent years researching trawlers. Buyers unfamiliar with the brand skip right past it in search results, assuming an unrecognized name means an unproven boat. Experienced boaters know differently. Ask around any rendezvous for this route and you'll find Island Gypsy owners who talk about their boats the way other people talk about family heirlooms, with a kind of quiet loyalty that doesn't need convincing and rarely comes up for sale. If there's one reason experienced cruisers keep coming back to the Island Gypsy, it's the hull. It doesn't chase speed. It's built for efficiency and stability at the slower pace that 6,000 miles of rivers and canals actually demands. Imagine idling into a small marina after a full day on the Tennessee River, burning less fuel than many people spend driving their pickup to work that same day. That's exactly why Island Gypsy owners become so loyal to these boats. Fuel economy is excellent. Some owners report burning under 2 gallons an hour at a comfortable cruise, numbers that turn an 18-month journey into something affordable rather than a financial strain that eats into your retirement budget. The construction reflects a builder who never cut corners. Heavy fiberglass, proven diesel power, and a track record of boats still running strong decades after they left the factory floor. For this specific journey, this is about as purpose-built as an affordable boat gets. The draft and air draft both work comfortably within the route's requirements on most examples, and the compact size makes locking through and docking considerably less intimidating for a couple managing everything themselves without a professional crew to lean on. The interior, while modest compared to the Carver or Cray on today's list, offers real liveaboard functionality, a proper galley, enough storage for careful provisioning, and enough headroom that months aboard never feel like a compromise. The boat has a long history of successfully completing the trip, and many owners credit its straightforward design and dependable diesel power for making the journey far less stressful than they expected going in. You'll typically find good examples between $55,000 and $95,000, a real range depending on engine hours and how recently the systems have been updated. The trade-off is space. This is a boat for a couple, not a boat for hosting guests regularly, and buyers used to larger interiors may need an adjustment period before they settle into the rhythm of a smaller footprint. This is one of those boats that earns respect the moment you start talking to someone who actually owns one, because nobody buys an island Gypsy on a whim. They buy it because someone who'd already completed the journey told them to. And in the boating world, there are few recommendations more valuable than advice from someone who's already finished the trip you're about to begin. This route has a way of exposing weak boats and rewarding well-built ones. Every boat on today's list has already proven it belongs out there, and that's worth far more than the name written across the transom. Which one would you choose for your own journey? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoy practical boating advice and affordable boat finds, hit the like button, subscribe to Boat Hunter, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.